it has been a while, and I don't know what I'm gonna get, considering that this is middle of the afternoon on a Saturday. People probably have much better things to do. I also do want to apologize for anybody who may have been misled. I did that on my YouTube video when I brought my videos over, but I actually realized that people might have actually, from the description that I put out of laziness, actually thought that I had the full game. I do not. I am waiting with bated breath just as much as the rest of you. So, if there was any confusion with that, I do apologize. I don't know if I'm gonna apologize or what I'm gonna do, because honestly, I changed the description so it says Episode Duscae now, and if somebody is still confused, I can't, there's not much I can do about that. So, I was just happy because 11 people just shattered my expectations last time. And, I mean, I wasn't expecting anything. I mean, who seriously is going to be watching a stream on a Sunday night? But, I mean, I was elated, don't get me wrong. If I have gained any people as a permanent following, that's aces in my book, but I don't want to do so under false pretenses. And I mean, that was one of those things where somebody asked last time, where did you get this game? And I mean, I was honest. I said, hey, it came as a download code for, Final Fantasy Type 0, and that's the only way you could get it, and I got it, so... But, okay. I really do hope they slow down the text. Actually, is there a way to... What options do I have here? I have a whole bunch of no options to slow down the text. I'm a pretty fast reader, and if I can't read something before the message disappears, I don't expect that a lot of people are going to be able to be honest. So I do hope they fix that, or voice it, or something. I understand this is a demo, so that all might be voiced. Not an issue if it's voiced. These guys do a great job. I don't think I've ever really mentioned voice work in here. Other than, I do know that one of the things that I left for...
Watch out!
It's fine. They're doing nothing prompto. Good grief. Don't get your knickers in a twist over that. That was a very British thing to say. Train of thought derailed. Train of thought very derailed. I'm probably gonna watch this after I'm done and kick myself. Oh, the voice work. I mean, Prompto sounds like he looks. Noctis, I did complain in the survey that he sounded too old. And that's one of those things where they said they fixed certain things about that, but I haven't really noticed a difference, and I was nowhere near you, Prompto. Good grief, you're jumpy.
I'm sick of walking around.
Then try running.
Ha! You're joking, right?
But, I mean, overall, these guys are very well voiced. I do have to say that there are no complaints about the quality from me. See, this is something that I already covered, but you can tell he's getting wary of this where he wasn't before. It's kind of interesting to see that flag already switched on before it even gets its butt over here. That is very interesting to me as a programmer. I am a programmer by trade. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but programmer by trade, game hobbyist by choice. Some would argue it's not really a choice for me anymore because I do devote a lot of time and effort to my game ideas more than some would say is healthy. There was this comic I found on Twitter.
Knocked!
Okay. Now, I do just want to check the item description for that because these are all going to go away. And I am a completionist, so I want to... Yeah, they didn't change that. That's right. How did I get 94 saber tusk claws? I didn't find that many of them, did I? Okay. Well, what's this over here? Just a bit. We can sell those, I guess. Anyway, as for the cast, it's all very well acted. The NPCs sound like NPCs, which is both good and bad because when you're thinking about game design, I do think about game design a lot. I kind of have to learn everything from the ground up, but I do think about it a lot. And I should probably set my marker, shouldn't I? Here we go. But, I do think about game design a lot.
I feel it knocked.
And, you know, I can analyze things pretty well, so I can understand certain decisions. Okay, are we just gonna go down here then?
Knocked!
It really annoys me that whenever somebody sees something, you're reduced to this slow walk. Okay. Anyway, sometimes, you know, oh, hello person. Not sure when you joined, I'm just kind of rambling. Sometimes, to get you up to speed, I don't know how much you've been hearing, but I was just kind of talking about how, as a programmer by profession and a game designer by choice, I kind of think about a lot of game design things, and even though I don't really have any game education,
something here.
Sometimes coming at things with fresh eyes really does help. I mean, you have to reinvent the wheel sometimes, but
kidding me? That thing's huge! Not cool, not cool, not cool! Ah! My whole life flashed before my eyes.
That sounds like a good idea. Anyway, sometimes, you know, even though I do end up reinventing the wheel, there's a point, inexperience can help. Because when you're not limited by what's been done before or how things are done correctly, you can...
How's it going?
Could be worse.
You can fight that now. I will be returning to camp, though, because I am not going to fight that on 2 people. Normal battles are hard enough on 2 people, especially at the levels I'm at right now. Anyway, like I was saying, sometimes coming into...
Dinner tonight? What are we thinking?
Something edible, I guess.
Really? You guess?
Sometimes coming into things with fresh eyes, you're not limited by what's done before. You don't know how things are done right, which lets you bring in new ideas. That's the thing about art, is that a lot of art, especially established art forms like movies and, you know, to a certain extent video games, they're kind of stagnated because it's difficult to get new ideas in there. There are certain ways that things are expected to be done because they work. And the power of indie games and indie films is that you're not beholden to somebody who's not willing to try something new. In the case of games, the publishers, or you know, movies are not cheap to make. So, I mean, if a couple of kids out in the woods with the handheld camera are going to be able to do some things that are a little riskier and that probably aren't going to be a guaranteed sell like studios are going to want. I'm just going to return to camp here, I think. And it's, like, indies are good because they bring out new ideas, and if somebody sees those ideas and runs with them, the first person to do something is not always going to be the best person to do something. There are certain things where there's a reason they're done that way, but there are other certain times when established convention can be defied, and it is all to the benefit, because maybe there's a better way to do it. New techniques, new technology. So... And I love how the camp is just still set up here.
Oh? Yeah.
That really is a nice touch. If I can get to the... Here we go. But, back to my original point, the voice work in here, I like it. The NPCs sound very much like NPCs, but as a stylistic choice, even though it's a little painful to hear, as a stylistic choice, it could work, because you really don't want the NPCs overshadowing the main party. And you see that a lot in different games. You know, Final Fantasy is... what do I mean? About what? About the reason that you would not want the NPC dialogue to overshadow the party dialogue, because the main characters are the focus. So you can create some interesting NPCs, but you don't want them to be too interesting because you don't want them to outshine the party. There are certain sacrifices that you can and should make to NPCs to make them less interesting than the characters that you want people to focus on, the main party. Or either that or even major NPCs. So like Cindy is a major NPC, she has a lot of personality. Whereas a couple of the people over by the Chocobo farms, they're eccentric is the best word I can find for it. There's this lady, and she's just kind of like obsessively talking about how she likes to watch the Chocobos eat when she feeds them, and it's one of those things where it sounds really strange, and it's delivered maybe a little quirkily, but that's the thing, is she's obviously supposed to be a quirky character, and that's all you really get, and that's all you really need. So, does that answer your question? Where are they?
These are not the
there
type of
they
bad
are.
guys I like to fight.
What time do you like to fight?
Let's run with that maybe a little bit.
Now that you mention it. What's the idea?
Apologies.
Hands now.
Farewell. You're on fire today.
No big deal.
Up and at it.
Oh, forget that.
Gotcha! Allow me.
This is gonna hurt.
You're mine.
Whew.
Yeah, that's a riggy. You surprised? Hands now. Nothing personal. Anyone dead?
Not me.
Highness?
Just tired count.
Okay, that went better than I expected. It's been a while since I last played this, so unfortunately I forgot what the block button was. Let's see here. What am I working with? Did I already get that first Armiger sword? Pretty sure I got that first Armiger sword. Yes, I did. Okay. So for this, these are the Armiger swords. The way you find these is the first one I got was actually sticking out of a rock face. It doesn't matter which order you find them in, they give the actual powers to you in the same order. That was like the one thing I did want to go grab before I continued on with things, because that's going to make the next portion of this that I'm going to be doing easier. You got your warp strike, you got your dodge. Getting the first Armiger sword actually allows you to... It's basically your limit breaker. You need to be at full MP to use it. And according to interviews with Square employees, it's really intended to be an emergency button type thing, but honestly, seeing as there really isn't any magic in this demo except for Ignis's healing spell, there's really no reason not to use it. Just being brutally honest. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going to the Chocobo Farm, and where am I? I should probably check that. Okay, yeah, I am going the right direction. What are these destinations? Where was Chocobo Post? Yeah, this is... I didn't expect it to be marked out for me like that. In case you haven't watched my previous video, originally what I did was I was kind of just exploring and doing things my way. This time I'm trying to do things a little more on rails.
Why do you call them that?
Magitech troops empty inside.
This is Arbiter.
The Prince of Pain. Yep.
This used to be much more of a automated function than it is now, unfortunately. It seems to have lost its kind of auto-targeting ability where it,
None the worse for wear.
where you kind of do have to steer it a little bit more now, which is kind of disappointing because in the first version of this, the original version before the update, you pretty much just held square and you could clean house, which seems like it would be much more useful as an emergency button type solution, but I don't know if it was intentional, but they have limited its effectiveness a little bit.
They won't know what hit them.
Well, gotcha! I'll say I'm amazed.
What can I say?
Going for it!
Focus on someone else, not just Tram.
Say your prayers!
This one's just for you. Gotcha! Hey! Nothing possible. Hands now. Simple. Stay alive.
It's like they might have changed the heal graphic a little bit. Seem to remember it being a little more liney, which actually looked kind of cool because it looked a little more like, you know, computerized and digital, which would actually be a really interesting take on magic graphics for a change. I mean, most of the time, you know, you get your little stars for healing, and, you know, fire is fire. Lightning is one of those things where they can't really always capture it very well. There's only so many ways that electricity really works, and so, you know, you've got your standard D&D type things where it's like lightning from the fingers, which is usually more in like Elder Scrolls and those types of things. Less Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy tends to be really big on the I'm just going to have this come from somewhere up from above. Which,
Let's clean them up quick.
Focus. Let's be done with this riffraff. Gotcha!
Final Fantasy is really big on the it's just going to come from somewhere up above. And
That's all she wrote.
it worked a lot better in the 2D games, or games where, even earlier 3D games, where you didn't have as much control over the camera. Because something like Final Fantasy VII, you know, where lightning just comes from above, that's alright, you can do that, because it...
Same to you.
You could control where the camera went, whereas in more modern games you have to come up with a solution because it's got to have some sort of beginning point and end point. That's just how graphics work for the most part, unless you're going to do some sort of, you know, tiling or vector or something. But, I mean, no matter what you have to do, the beginning point would then still have to be off screen somewhere, or come from what effectively would be the ceiling. So, it's been a little more varied on how they solved that problem in newer games. I actually kind of like the way they did it in Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts, it's just like, yeah, you got this little, it just kind of comes from basically like directly above.
Some real rest is long
and
overdue.
Even though it's not like, you know, it's not like really justified very well, it looks fine, and it's magic, it doesn't have to be justified. These are the...
Hi, it's us again. We couldn't stay away another day. You have any birds in need of a bite?
Sure do. They've all been waiting for you to come out again.
Thanks for keeping them hungry for us.
Yeah, these people are a little strange. But that's alright.
Sweet chocobos. You always set my soul at ease.
Never realized you were so into chocobos.
I'm totally into chocobos. Don't take that the wrong way.
There's no wrong way to love a chocobo.
Okay, what am I... Oh, that's just where it set the marker. Alright, so I'm on my own when it comes to finding the actual shiny object. Here we go. Okay, so I got that. Now, let's see if I can first and foremost remember which marker. There really should be... It's not a campground, it's not an outpost. That was supposed to add it to my map, I thought. Talk to this person. I don't think the game glitched or anything, I just need to figure out who I need to talk to or what I need to do to get it to put it on my map. Because otherwise I'm going to be spending the next... I'm not quite sure how long looking for...
Hi, it's us again. We couldn't stay away another day. You have any birds in need of a bite?
Sure do. They've all been waiting for you to come out again.
Thanks for keeping them hungry for us.
I think I'm supposed to talk to the store owner somehow, but if he's going to be sitting there talking to those people, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Nice little reference in there. Oh, hello, second person. Thanks for joining. Oh, 3 people? Hello. So, for your benefit, I am trying to figure out what I need to do to get this to register the fact that I need to go to this cavern where I can get Ramu. Like I was saying with that, nice little reference, one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater reference there. If behemoths flew, we would all be in very big trouble. Okay, I am not entirely certain what I'm supposed to do here. So I'm gonna leave and come back and see if that changes anything.
Let's hit it.
Okay. Gladio! Ignis!
On it. Just a moment.
Standing amongst the butterflies. That was one of the biggest things that always impressed me, especially on the PS1 era, is just a little bit of ambient life goes a long way. Chrono Cross for the PS1, I adore that game to death. It really needed more money and attention behind it than it got, and probably could have used a third disc. But from a gameplay perspective, it's great. Lynx is a great villain, in my opinion, and is certainly a very successful villain.
Easy as they come.
And as a PS1 game goes, it's probably one of the best looking PS1 games I can think of.
No big deal.
No one missing nice guy! All's well that ends well.
Well, put it in the books.
And a good portion of the reason for that is that they did not spare the fidelity in there. There's actually certain details on things like weaponry. Okay. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But, anyway, one of the big things from Chrono Cross that really made it feel special to me, like really just prettier than it had any right to be, was the fact that it had...
Give me the short version.
Brilliance cannot be summarized, I'm afraid.
that it had ambient life in it. Things like butterflies and that kind of thing.
Gotcha! You're mine!
Steady. How's it look over there?
We might be winning! One shot!
You're on fire today!
What can I say?
Oh yeah!
Huh.
Not a bad EXP boost. 200% is not bad at all. Okay. Let's see if anything changed over there. That's the thing about this game, is I'm not quite sure how the AI is handled. It certainly doesn't seem to be up to par with something like, you know, Radiant, like is used in the Elder Scrolls series. When it comes to the NPCs moving around.
I'm going all out.
Just don't get too carried away.
She'll want to talk.
Never miss!
must say I'm amazed. Watch where you swing that thing! All's well that ends well.
Well, put it in the books.
Alright, have these people moved yet? Yes, they have. Okay. Where's the shopkeep?
Calm and carefree.
Hold on a second. Are these yesterday's vegetables?
I didn't want the leftovers to go to waste.
I asked you to throw out any leftovers, didn't I?
But I figured the birds will eat them.
Yes, I realize that the birds will eat the vegetables.
Oh, good. Then it's settled.
No, not good. Not settled. Yesterday's vegetables aren't fresh.
Yeah, I know. But since they were leftover,
You should have thrown them out. That's what I'm saying.
Wow,
The chocobos
okay,
wouldn't even
I'm
know
just
the
gonna back
difference.
away slowly.
You're the one who doesn't know. Anything.
What?
Oh boy.
yeah.
Okay, wow, that was a thing. What is she even doing? I don't know if that was even supposed to happen. That was... I'm sorry, a domestic fight like that? That is not what I was expecting to see in a video game. Much less somebody getting violent like that. I mean, there's a definite difference between...
I gather you're all taking in sights. Sure are a lot to take in around these parts. But you'll steer clear of that cave nearby if you know what's good for you. Wouldn't want that to be the last sight you see.
Okay, that's what I needed. But anyway, yeah, like seeing that was some domestic violence there. I'm not gonna lie. That is disturbing. And I'm surprised it made it into not only like the game itself, where I'm sure some censor somewhere would have words about that, but a demo. I mean, she pushed him. Or whatever happened. I'll have to rewatch the video because I was trying to back away and focused more on that than... Yeah, how much gil do I actually have? Incomplete side quests will be abandoned. Do I have any incomplete side quests? Not really. Okay.
It's bedtime.
Sounds good.
Not gonna lie, I mean, to record, animate, and put that in a game, that takes guts, because there are just some things that you would not expect them to get away with. Alright, Normally I would make this an hour, but I am not entirely sure why, and it's not from that, trust me, it's not from that, but I'm actually getting a headache. So what I'm probably gonna do is I am going to...
Morning. Morning.
just kind of end things here, take an aspirin, and see if I feel better in a few minutes, and then maybe come back. Thank you, 3, for joining, and if I do start streaming again, you're welcome to join again.